Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bike Talk with BikeLane. This is Bike Checks with Ed. I'm Ed. Today we're doing the 2020 Giant Roam Disc 4. So this is actually a very unique bike. So it's a street bike and a mountain bike. It's a little bit of both worlds. So it's a hybrid, but realistically it's a dual sport bike. On Giant's website, you're going to find it categorized under with the cyclocross bikes. So it's kind of its own thing, which is very nice. Everybody likes being unique. So this guy comes with off-road tires, which are also street tires. So there's 65 PSI tires, or 700 by 38C. But they have a pretty small knobby tread pattern. They're not too big, so they don't give you a bunch of resistance. But at 65 PSI, these guys on the street will ride smooth. But if you drop a little bit of pressure and you want to go off-roading, you can easily go off-roading with these guys. So very nice tires that Giant put on here. Giant also gives you 700C wheels that are pretty thick. So these rims can take a little bit of abuse. So you're able to go off-roading and not worry about bending or twisting anything. Just know that your bike can handle it. Up front, they give you a low travel 700C fork. So it's pretty much a 29-inch fork, but low travel. There's no compression or lockout on this version. This fork is made by Suntour. Up front here on the cockpit, we have aluminum stem, aluminum handlebars, full aluminum components and frame, by the way. So the handlebars here are 27 inches wide. It's about the average width for most guys and gals. You ideally want your handlebars about shoulder width distance. You don't want to be reaching too much. You don't want to be too far in either. You want it as wide as possible to give as much bike control as possible. Up here we also have a 70mm reach stem. It has a 15-degree angle on it, up, or you can flip it over to be down. But you're going to be pretty upright on here. Upright is a very comfortable position for cruising, for just doing any type of commuting. If you want to do some more aggressive riding, some aggressive mountain biking, this is not the bike for you. This is more of a, if you happen to take some paths that go off-road, then you'll be fine. But if you're trying to do some jumps and some trail riding, you're definitely going to have to upgrade. 2020 stance will be next. So Giant actually gave you a really nice set of brakes on this bike. So this is going to be their entry-level dual sport bike. So this bike MSRP is for $480, but for $480 you get Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, which is a huge plus. You don't see that on anybody else's bikes. So these are very low maintenance brakes, and they're going to give you consistent stopping power no matter what. So Giant here gave you also a 7-speed drivetrain. So on the back we have a 13 to 32 spread, which is a pretty big spread. You have enough that you can hit some pretty fast speeds, and also a big ring in the back for climbing. Up front, Giant gave you what looks like a 28 to about a 44. So the 44 is, again, really big. So if you want to get some speed and you're commuting, doing some long distance riding, that's going to be ideal for you. Giant also gives you 175mm cranks, which gives you a lot of torque and rotation on there, so you're able to keep and maintain your speed for as long as your body can maintain it. So they gave you an Altus rear derailleur and a Turney rear derailleur, kind of mismatch, but it works. Giant gave you a pretty comfortable, not too big and not too heavy saddle. So this saddle is I believe it was 170mm wide. Let's double check that. This saddle is 150mm wide and 207mm long. So it's a pretty comfortable saddle for what it is. The wider the saddle, the more comfortable it is because it takes up more space. But you don't necessarily want something super big because it kind of takes away from the cool street look of the bike. We have aluminum seat post on the bike, aluminum seat clamp, full aluminum frame. Giant did something very nice, which I really like. I actually ride the same bike, by the way. Giant gives you the cables that run full length. So there's no cut in the houses. So there's no exposure, nowhere for the dirt, water to get in there. So if you're taking this bike and getting it dirty, it can take it. They gave you a cool cover that goes under the frame, so all the wires are run under. So it looks very clean. It's not internally routed, so it's still easy maintenance. You don't have to worry about running your cables through the inside. They are tubed tires as well. And the geometry of this bike, it's almost built as a mountain bike, but a little more relaxed. So it's not as tight geometry, kind of a longer wheelbase, a longer reach. So the bike is meant to be a lot more stable than nimble. So if you're an average commuter, if your route takes you off-roading, and if you're mostly riding in the street, this is going to be the bike for you. And if you guys ever want to check it out, we're here every day except for Wednesdays. Check us out on Instagram, Google, Yelp, Facebook. Subscribe, comment on YouTube. Thank you guys. This has been another episode of Bike Talk with BikeLane. This is Bike Checks with Ed.